Hi everyone, welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. Pathfinder Kingmaker, fucking hell. I've just been finishing that one. There's bloody Rogue Trader. Ugh, spent too many hours recording stuff today. Okay, right. We're going to go into that new area, the shrine and the whatever place. I'm thinking, it was the offices. That those things, wasn't it? We've asked a couple of officers, but nothing. So let's ask General. Vigdis informed me about problem with the Servitors. What happened? You see, Your Lordship, ship servitors have been malfunctioning late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. He nervously pulls on his luxurious frock coat, as if it was uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine technical fault, I would have decided the fate of these servitors myself. I deemed it necessary to notify you. Do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. Get my microphone at right weight. It's a bit low. Okay, it's better. I wish to observe the servitors' unusual behaviour if you wish to observe, before you decide your fate. This can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments, pending your decision. Pascal Hanuman expressed the desire to be present during the inspection, should it be carried out. I suppose the expertise of the esteemed Magos will come in handy. I'll take a look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, Your Lordship. Would you like the Engineer Prime to accompany you? Yes, Pascal shall come with me. As Your Lordship commands. He hasn't said he's the Engineer Prime yet, because we're not finished that thing, but okay, whatever. When his Lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position they had assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiraling line, and facing the centre of the strange formation. The moment his Lordship crossed the threshold of the bay gate, their bodies jerked into motion, all as one, as if obeying a command. The servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The technomats charged with overseeing the defective units even reached for their weapons. But then the servitors went still, just as abruptly, staring at his Lordship with vacant eyes. All present held their breath, stirred by this sight. They waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His Lordship, Jellybobs von Valancius. Took several steps towards the servitors. Immediately, the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped towards the Lord Captain in perfect unison. They mimicked his movement with frightening precision. The Rogue Trader halted in place, and, after a moment's thought, waved his hand, and the servitors, just as synchronously, repeated that gesture as well. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, with an incline of the head, a wave of a hand, or a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation. Like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unknown puppeteer, we observed this mime unfold into stressed bafflement for nearly a minute until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the Rogue Trader approached with confidence. The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As High Factotum, it was I who prompted that inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under their copper collars, inscribed with their past offences, as if those mindless half-machines were locked into a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken technomat behind us proposed that the human souls had awakened within the servitors' bodies after a long slumber within the lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the technomat added that the servitors used to function properly, and that no one had been able to explain the change in their behaviour. His gaze still trained on the motionless but animate half machines and half people, the Lord Captain. I'll keep that blade quiet, I think. There'll be plenty of chances to get heresy points. Stepped away from the Servitors. Gestured for the Engineer Prime to study the Servitors. The Engineer Prime slowly waded into the motionless ranks of the Servitors, peering into their faces and checking the readings. There was no haste in Pascal's actions. With a mesmerising diligence, he inspected every single unit in his path, and by Narek prayers were his companions in the investigation. The examination confirmed the Technomat's initial hypothesis. The Servitors' souls, or rather the souls of the people they once were, had awakened. Not yet fully conscious of their past and present, these half-machine could nevertheless feel primitive emotions and sensations such as fear and pain. This undesirable consequence of shoddily performed lobotomy is most rarely observed, and yet for some unknown reason it had occurred in every single one of the Servitors gathered in the bay. Yep, same as before. Demanded a report on the defective unit status from the Technomats. The Technomats' long-winded and detailed report could have been summarised in a single key point. Despite the Servitors' abnormal behaviour, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. Okay, announce my decision. That's not really dogmatic. There is a helmet you can get to increase your psi rating. For each rank of dogmatic. Is it really that important though? I don't think it's that important for the build I've got in mind. It might be. Oh, I can't remember. I mean, if it's just 3 or something, it's pointless. It could be Iconoclast, the helmet. I'll take the dogmatic one away. Send the Servitors back to toil as they had toiled before, but they had not yet paid their dues for the crimes of their past lives, and thus did not deserve clemency. 3. It's not going to do anything. On the Lord Captain's orders, the Servitors returned to the same decks where they had worked before. The crew was initially unnerved by their presence, but adapted to the quirks soon enough, especially since, following the incident in question, there was a noticeable reduction in Servitors' strange behaviour. With the fate of the defective Servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. I didn't want to show off that blade. I'm supposed to be keeping it a secret. A special secret. Okay. This is a thing we found in Theodora's cupboard, wardrobe. That document about the fiery reckoning. Have you ever heard the name Fiery Reckoning? From what I can tell, it's a voidship of some sort. There's a mention of it in one of Theodora's documents I found. Janvez thinks for a moment, pursing his lips in concentration. I find it's not immediately familiar to me, your lordship. Please allow me a moment. He starts rapidly tapping on the screen of his data slate. It was the one where they had put something in containment and put it to the front of the ship for maximum impact. I say, House von Balancius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transactions, records of the ship picking up cargo from Kiara Gamma. Oh, this is odd. The data log ends there. Apparently the ship has some interactions with one of the void ships in your industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but that's the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regard to this particular matter. Have you made a confession lately? Your lordship, you're truly masterful at springing unexpected questions on a man. However, I must admit, I don't quite understand this case. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, have they not? Factotum fidgets nervously with rings on his fingers until he musters the courage to reply. I will not pry into how your lordship find out about my confession. I suppose it raised some questions for you? Oh, right. The end slide of the iconoclast. It says he retired and then spent nearly all of his wealth in helping orphans and the children on board the voidship, giving them education, food, accommodation, stuff like that. Oh, it ties in. That's nice. I'm willing to allocate extra resources to provide for the orphans. I marvel at your generosity. Will there be any specific instructions, your lordship? Let's trust you with this matter. Spend as much as you deem necessary. I mean, I'm a heretic, I don't care about money. The factotum's eyes glisten sentimentally. The children will know that you are the benefactor. As for me, I can assure that I will find ways to procure enough funds to cover the expenses. This is all... I can do that with that later. Enough questions for now. Chuckcaster. Ready to talk to... Oh, I didn't talk to her since going down there. Captain. She snaps to attention, ready to carry out your order. Lower your voice conspirationally. Conspiratorially. The lop-eared clappers, a confession. She cocks an eyebrow. Please repeat your orders, Lord Captain. That eased. It was a test. You passed. A stress interrogation is a good tool for exposing ideological weak elements. She lowers her voice slightly. It's usually conducted under duress. Thank you for choosing to omit that part for me. That's all for now. Oh, no loss. Soon. Soon. Right. Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Okay.
Lord Captain.
Nothing there. Vigdis. Ah. The lop-eared clappers. I assume you heard my confessional message. Vigdis replies with a hint of awkwardness. Do you wish to talk about it? Important question is why. I was fault checking the Vox devices of the ship's reliquary. Message recording works, but deletion does not. You've helped me establish that. Thank you. Wait. Why lop-eared clappers specifically? At that time, I had nothing to repent of, so it dictated an excerpt from an old letter to my mother. As you heard, it contained arguments in favour of keeping lop-eared clappers on the ship. I can still recite it from memory. Vigdis, I want a pair of clappers aboard the ship. I'm going to quote my mother's response. That is impossible. You see, the species went extinct several centuries ago. Vigdis' voice grows ever so slightly warmer. I'm very sorry, Lord Captain. There aren't any clappers left to be had. Your confession perplexed the initiate. Find a way to delete it, and we shall forget about it. Will do, Lord Captain. Okay. Got 90% chance there. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Nope. Okay. So have I done everything there for that? was the first one. Yeah, I want to go down there. Pyro as well, the chapel. So, who else is the Drives Master? Have you made a confession lately? No, I'm up to my connectors at work as it is. Why are some destined to perish in the warp, while others must go on living? Though some weren't trying hard enough or listening to the higher-ups is all, there was someone you know died on you, and was supposed to offer my sympathies. Rather grunts and looks away. Odd choice of person to come to with something like that, Lord Captain. Thanks for the answers. Definitely was not you. I'll be blasted if I understand a thing, but I'm here to serve. Something else you'd like to discuss? Do you know anything about a ship named the Fiery Reckoning? Whoever winces as in pain. I've heard the name, but much more that I'm sure of. Jesus Christ, my eyes and my brain's not working. That much I'm sure of, but I can't recall the details. Ha! I wonder if it was part of that operation that the late Mort was put in charge of. If it was, there's nothing I can tell you, Lord Captain. The whole thing was kept under wraps. Your best chance would be to ask the High Factotum what you have. Maybe some of his treasury records have mention of the Fiery Reckoning. Okay. If he knows anything about that, no. Maybe I've already asked him. So it's one more person then. Victus, done all these. Okay. Oh yeah, I linked my account to Twitch. And I had some streams running in the background while I was working. So, it was here, wasn't it? There was some kind of thing. Right. Mind Twitch Grenade. The affected enemy immediately turns into an ally and gains an extra turn. As soon as the extra turn ends, the target turns back into an enemy. All enemies at difficulty tier 5 or above are immune. Fair enough. Zero Sum Lens. The wearer has a 0 resolve % chance to reduce any incoming damage to 0. That seems pretty busted late game. The Valiant Commissar's Skull. For a true servant to the Emperor, hatred of enemies of humanity transcends even death. The skull of this commissar, who fell in an unequal battle against heretics, is embedded with a vox repeater that plays out his last battle cry. That's going to be really annoying. Like super annoying. Iconoclast is for you. Also, I could level you up, couldn't I? Oh, itchy eye. 5% armor or critical hit chance. Spinner's masks. Dogmatic, which you are. You're also dogmatic. But you can't have that and that at the same time. Oh yeah, I want to give missionary oath to Pascal. And who's got the best result of 4? Maybe just 3 or 4. 5 there, but might as well give you that then. 42% armor. And who is not wearing a helmet now? You do wear 4, okay. Right, level 10. Let's have a look at my spreadsheet. It's the Pathfinder 1. Trader. Abelard. Ramming speed and weapon skill. Ramming speed is for charging. Yep. Distance and charge by 3 cells and weapon skill. Okay. Those grenades. Are these useful? Doesn't seem to be any it looks like it's only one. There's no area effect. Unlike that. Defected enemy. Doesn't seem to be any save against it either, which is strange. Anyway, that was from the Twitch drops. Okay, so let's go and fix that broken machine. I can remember where it was. The shrine, there were some logic things to do, wasn't there? And the chapel, there's some stuff to do as well. Okay. Zeke. Floater, so, and was Adalbert. I'll go and ask them one by one. I've done the puzzle.
Let us not dawdle.
Both this one and the mace that we get.
Over.
An ancient-looking chainsword without a fuel engine rests on the weapon rack. The shape of its teeth makes you think that Ulma Universalis, pattern from the Angevin Crusade era. That was only like 60% chance, wasn't it? Wow. She rolled a 1.
Is there money to be made?
Nice one. The Imperium victim, the shards of unknown Angevin Crusade warrior twin blades returned from pirate captivity by the grace of the Emperor. I don't know what this Angevin Crusade area. I have to look it up offline. This is Low Imperium, 60%. Probably failed this one.
A premonition runs true.
Among the antique weapons you spot the maul known as the Ferrum Fatum. Legend has it that its head split when it cracked open the skull of the loathsome demon Vrenazar the Flayer. The Rex Regalia, the partially restored blade of Zathudus the Earnest, a missionary who decimated the abominable Xenos and fell in deathly battle against the unrighteous.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
I've already got that. Oh, let's pray, is it? Decide to pray. The one you remember best. The Quilla Anima, a fragment of the Cathedral of Eternal Redemption. Brought up the shrine world of Solace 6, now lost. Okay. But that was just Confessor Adalbert now. I thought I read all those before. Okay. So there's nothing to fix here.
I always have a backup plan.
It must have been in the Astropathic Chapel. All these people to talk to. Faulty transcription manipulators. Do I have to do it in a certain way or not? I don't know.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Alright. Transcription quills are leaving blots on the paper. Remove the device's casing and discover a leaking ink supply. Oops. Printer problems. Malfunctioning cogitator.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
The miniature screens are displaying red error messages. You command the machine to run a diagnostic, and the messages disappear.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
The sensors of the text correcting calibrator are dead. A prayer to the Messiah makes the new sensor spring to life.
My success is irrefutable.
Once cleaned the candle wax that has seeped inside, the inner workings of the interpreter are much more
Keep your wits
move
about
much
you.
more easily. The grumbling receiver router. Okay.
Operation success.
Scraps of paper are stuck deep inside the mechanism, causing it to rattle terribly. Cleaning the machine parts and anointing them with sacred unguent restores the machine to its clear, clanging voice. Okay, so we've done it. Sacrifice. Have you made a confession lately? I beg your lordship's pardon? Pardon? Why are some destined to perish in the warp while others must go on living? How odd. He grimaces as though through pain. Odd that you should have listened to my confession. And odd that you should choose to approach me afterward. Why? I felt there was anguish in that confession. Wanted to help. My confession made you anxious on my account, resulting in the waste of your time, for which I apologise. I'm thankful for your consideration. Your smile was a bittersweet smile. Death always keeps close to astropaths, and its punishments for arrogance and weaknesses are severe. I've seen my fellows die, and at times the memories are exceedingly hard to bear. Sadly, almost every choir has a story like that. I'm a survivor who's carried the ghost with them ever since. Vice lets out a ragged breath. My apologies, but I cannot continue worrying at these old wounds. Directing a choir requires a clear and firm state of mind. Okay. So who do I talk to about? Talk to the Astropath. That was right at the front. Yeah. Your lordship, the Astropath smiles at you, the shy, awkward smile of someone unused to smiling. The sacred mechanism is working again with no disruptions. With a trembling hand, Psyker hands you a strip of paper with smooth rows of etched characters, this time containing no errors. The Engineer rises proudly to his feet and says in low Gothic, a language he clearly has not much practice in. Sacred words and virtuous thoughts turn to the God Emperor. I've been able to pacify this mechanism's wayward spirits. The Omnissiah blesses. So what now? I recommend installing 2 incense burners units in this compartment to prevent the spirit's continued anger. The unit of Zachary Weiss will be provided with a list of minor recommendations, 142 in total, for improvement to this compartment's maintenance. Failure to implement will result in sanctions on the part of the Adeptus Mechanicus priesthood. No experience? Oh, they're gone.
Is there money to be made?
You got anything to say? Your Lordship, I have something for you. The Choir Master hands you a sheet of paper with uniform lines of machine type etched into it. Thanks to your assistance in repairing the compiler, we've been able to interpret a most curious message. It contains a call sign that agents of renegade Voidship use in their especially important reports. Could it be a message from Voidship? He was more likely the intended recipient. When was the signal sent? Cannot say with certainty, Your Lordship. Following the repair work, I went through the text that had defied decoding before. This signal has lost its way in the bowels of the mechanism. It could be a week old or years. What does the message say? Only a few words. Or is that an Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Cornish pronunciation? Liname, I guess. A bit Scottish. Like she, S-I-D-H-E. Odonatus 11. The winds have ceased, it is done. Now Liname is a Voidship call sign for special reports, but the rest is a code we are unfamiliar with. That said, we know where to look for the truth. The Odonatus 11 system. I will get to the bottom of that message. I have no doubt of that, Your Lordship. Okay. So a little bit of progress there.
Rush not dawdle.
Now, finally, get into the lower decks, hopefully. Freight line. Frenzo. A sturdily built man with an augmented jaw stands at attention. The dark circles under his eyes speak to many sleepless nights, but his voice is loud and spirited. Welcome to Freight Hub LD 987A14, Lord Captain. I am Heretic Frenzo, Captain of the Enforcers of the Lower Deck Bay, LD A14. The Master at Arms has assigned me to be your liaison for the duration of your stay here. Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room or to begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspawn Web? It says the last part with obvious concern. It seems you were prepared for my visit. How did you and Sauerbeck know I was coming now? The Master at Arms ordered us to be in standby after the Bloodspawn Web openly invited you to visit their temple. We've been awaiting your arrival every day since then, Lord Captain. Do you know how to reach the Temple of the Bloodspawn Web? I'm sorry, Lord Captain, I do not. No one knows. The cultists are too adept at hiding and keeping their secrets. And it worries me that you might have to walk around the entire compartment looking for the temple. Why are you worried? Is there a problem with this compartment? The lower deck's not suitable for someone of your status. It's not just the grime of the crowds or brutish labourers. I suspect the entrance to the Temple of Death is hidden in some dark corner where you might encounter criminals or contagious outcasts. With the kind of riffraff that dwells here, you might even be attacked. Such ghastly places you describe. We're not headed there, are we, Lord Captain? Yep. He frowns. To put it bluntly, although the bay performs its functions well, even its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only assigned recently, so I haven't had the time to straighten everything up, since doing so will require making some serious changes. I'm not inventing excuses, Lord Captain. As the officer in charge, I accept full responsibility for what takes place in this compartment. Being assigned here seems like an exile. Did you commit infraction? Frenzo shakes his head fiercely. No, Lord Captain. Quite the opposite. I was commended for my service. This compartment has always been a troublesome one, and the Master at Arms assigned me here because she thought highly of my merit. I'm honoured to have earned the Mistress Sauerback's trust. What did the lower deck officers think of Jocasta Sauerback? Mistress Sauerback possesses all the personal and professional qualities required to lead the enforcers efficiently, Lord Captain. He enunciates each word with pride, but you note drops of sweat on his brow. I hereby offer you my assistance, Captain. I shall conduct an inspection and then share my thoughts on how to change this place for the better. But Frenzo stops himself mid-protest and assumes a more compliant tone. In that case, I urge you to remain vigilant. Freight trains move at great speeds, and the inhabitants of the residential units are despicable rabble. One must never drop one's guard around them, and the Emperor preserve you from stumbling into their pestilence pit, where these madmen and the lepers live. Tell me about the station. Hub LD 987A14 connects the lower deck's freight, residential and artillery bays. Our task is to monitor the flow of the labour force and prevent supply disruptions between bays. Who maintains it? Traffic controllers. They're technomats trained by priests of the machine cult to keep the sacred cogitators in working order and prevent train collisions. The consequences of an accident like that would be easy to imagine, especially if one of the trains was carrying macro cannon ordnance. Also employed here are an enforcer squad, a team of Inferni, the clerks who keep cargo records, and a Medicaid officer. A fine chap whose medicine of choice is a bullet. May the God Emperor forgive him. Not every void ship can boast of its own railway. That is true. Usually higher class ships are the ones that get trains, but it's far from the greatest thing a rogue trader's warrant can see done. The credit here goes to Lady Theodora's predecessor, on whose orders the Adeptus Mechanicus assisted in birthing this miracle of sacred engineering from the womb of the dynasty's flagship. What's the situation on the lower decks? Most of the locals unload trains and sort provisions. We give maintenance jobs to the more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whenever crew are lost on a deck, we find replacements from among those rats, and if extra hands are needed anywhere else, there are always more than enough volunteers eager for work rations. They even queue for jobs. The rabble cause you no problems, I hope. Surely you're joking, Lord Captain? The rabble are base in nature, and mutiny is always on their minds. They steal whatever they can get their hands on, and lately they've moved from rations and tinned food to weapons. We confiscate these regularly, of course, and keep the serfs meek and terrified. That's the only way you can protect the mindless herd from themselves. Oh, another thing the bastards do on a regular basis is build their shacks in front of the service tunnel entrances. That has delayed the arrival of furnace brigades during several emergencies and caused air and power supply problems in adjacent bays. We burn those saboteurs along with the shacks, but just keep pressing on regardless. Mutinous rabble? How paranoid of you. To the best of my knowledge, being paranoid is practically a requirement in our line of work. In any case, the rabble are always plotting. Take my word on it. The cult of the Bloodspun Web has a presence in this compartment, does it not? That is correct. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties, he scowls. As irregular as it is to have armed crew members set up a secret hideout forbidden to the enforcers, and that they can go around dispensing bloody justice. What do you know about the death cultists? Not much, but I'm always trying to learn more, given that they like to pay visits to my compartment. Frenzo scratched his head thinking, the Spinners honour the Emperor through death. They kill notorious reprobates and heretics. Sometimes they kill righteous folk, and other times even seemingly at random. Their rituals are morbid and their prayers are strange. Anyone not initiated in their rites would struggle to make any sense of them. Do you not take issue with the death cultists killing people in your territory? Frenzo avoids looking at Cabela. I do, Lord Captain, but the cult is authorised to exist on the ship, which means that activities down here are not to be interfered with. I see. Be steadfast in your duty, Captain Frenzo. The Emperor protects, Lord Captain. Okay. I've been recording for 40 minutes. Let's go a little bit longer. This looks like a big area. Frenzo whipped another bribe taker yesterday. It's nothing like the last captain who turned a blind eye to everything. Oh, okay.
I always have a backup plan.
So the last captain was corrupt, this one isn't. The cogitator dashboard controlling the rail junctions is lit up with indicator lumens for active hubs. Arrival and departure announcements are pouring out of the fog systems. Have you heard the Lord Captain himself stopped by our bay? Yeah, I'm right here behind you. Yes, he looked right at me. When Lady Victor's heard news of this, she'll promote me to the middle decks. Gmon, and she should send the half-dead and raspy bride of Ptolemy box operators to the middle decks. All quiet on the line, Lord Captain. Okay. Scribe, what do you do? Interference in section 00102. Again. That's Frenzo again. Okay, he's moved. Theatre 34 requesting Medicaid and repair crew.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Accident in rear carriage. Steal my own stuff off my own ship, why not? The technomats are performing a consenting right on the sacred power transformer, but the machine spirits are running rampant and will not be swayed. Okay. So nothing here. Secretary Servitor. The servo overseer makes a note of everyone who passes by the station every time. So I go past this like 5 times.
I always keep my options open.
Will it give him a feedback loop or something? Is that blood? Where? Can't be. We scrubbed the deck 3 times right before the rogue trader came. Void take me, the captain of our heads. Does that mean just there? The corner of the captain's mouth twitches nervously as he mutters, "Damn those, how did they..." Examine the mark. You've seen this sort of symbol before. Death cultists carve bleeding marks like this into their own skin. Corella carves the same symbol on the back of her hand with a knife and whispers a prayer. Dumbing Jellybobs, remember the sign. It is the beginning of your quest, the first blood trail. Do you know what this mark is? It resembles one of the symbols associated with the blood-spun word. What was it called again? The Song of Trailing Blood, I think. It's a prayer familiar to many in this compartment. We've heard spinners say it when they, well, performed their signature acts of service to the Emperor. Frenzo takes a deep breath. A soundless shadow sank into the dark, slashed feet crescendo, a fatal dance. Blade song in tempo, each edge in echo, twin odes to death throes, now on her sacred blood, as she once trod the backs of foes, trod countless souls, but none who know. Why would this leave this mark here? Maybe it's something to do with them inviting you to visit the temple. Maybe they're trying to get your attention? Apologies, Lord Captain. I'm not good at deciphering their disturbing riddles. You memorised the verse. Why? When I took up my post here, I made sure to familiarise myself with all the particular qualities of this compartment. I soon heard about the verse and decided to investigate. I questioned a number of people who followed the bloodspun web, as I was trying to figure out if there was anything pernicious about it, and eventually I learned the whole thing. He frowns. The words are certainly strange. There's nothing worse than that, it seems. What is the song of the Trail in Blood? From what I can tell, something like a prayer with several verses that tell about the life of one of the cult saints, Ariane, or the matriarch Spider as they call her. So I'm invited to follow a trail of blood, it seems. I accept the spinner's invitation. I hope you find what you're looking for and return to the upper deck safely, Lord Captain. Okay. Okay, that might become later then important. You think you can make out letters woven into the intricate symbol, and though the meaning of each individual letter eludes you, together they unmistakably form an arrow pointed in a certain direction. XP left. Okay, who's that? Burnt man. Cool. Door belowers. Have you heard? The rogue traders come down from the upper decks. Yes, I have. The rotting guts of someone unfortunate enough to be flattened by the train, like glistening on the track. Okay. That's not the rogue trader. It's a plainclothes enforcer. Well, more of a posh clothes one, really. Anyway. Up to something and trying to play us for fools.
Keep your wits about you.
This is the last of the hub's vials for this work cycle. Do you have any idea how much it costs? The battery in the whip, so I don't know, there's something going on there. Although you lot are the most pathetic enforcers on the ship, your purpose is to serve the Voidship dynasty. 57 thingies it was. Spent the rest on Rocker again, guessing. I'm not doing you any more favours. Give up the drink or get used to the life in the pestilence pit. Got 57 ration cars or something. Hope you get hit by a train. Wow. Nothing more than the batter in the whip is too good for the void dogs. There, 57 ration cards, that's all I've got, I swear.
Is there money to be made?
Medikits. And 7 detox. Okay. The bulky doors lead to the Enforcer's living quarters and the hub's provision depots. Okay, so this is the way. And 50 minutes, so yeah, just get here and call it for this episode. So, next episode, we'll be exploring the Freight Line area. This might be... I don't know when you're supposed to do this. Maybe it's Act 2, 4, I don't know. Not doing it now. Thanks for watching. Next episode we'll explain the rest of this area. And I hope to see you then. Till then, bye for now.